Some people say it all started with the robotic breakdance moves that Michael Jackson was doing on Dancing Machine with the Jackson 5. In fact, although the song was typically a funk dance track, those moves were anticipating a little bit what happened later on in Thriller and the zombie moves in some way. But it was too early because still that Halloween horror soundtrack kind of cinematic feel didn't yet appear in the Michael Jackson harmonies and arrangements. What I want to talk about is a common thread of kind of a horror harmony, spooky melodies that appear in the Michael Jackson discography and had their peak in Thriller, of course, and then went on with other minor hits. So now that Halloween is just around the corner, it's cool to analyze all these motifs that appear in Michael Jackson harmony, and they peaked on Thriller with the classic horror arrangements and scenery and choreography. So aside from Dancing Machine, where we only had these like dance moves, but it was pretty much a funk track, the first song where these horror, spooky, mysterious elements appeared is Heartbreak Hotel, This Place Hotel, in the album Triumph, where the song has a mysterious feel in general, but there's an interlude specifically that has a bit of a horror feel. Also, this comes from the lyrics of the songs. Actually, it talks about the protagonist of the song bringing his girlfriend to this hotel. That then they found out this hotel was meant to break up couples, and also this hotel seems to be kind of mysterious in the song. But anyway, this interlude as a specific way of putting together minor 7, minor 9 chords in a non-diatonic harmony to convey like a kind of a mysterious effect. In fact, it starts with an E minor 9. It's kind of a, and the melody goes like ooh, 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 ooh. So starting with an E minor 9, A minor 9, C sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7, and then picking in B minor. So even during the live performances, Michael Jackson is doing this, highlighting a little bit that spooky interlude. Then after the 1980s, This Place Hotel, Heartbreak Hotel, where is this spooky harmony appearing again in Michael Jackson songs, in this song Off the Wall from Off the Wall album. So what happens in this song, that we have some kind of a mysterious spooky intro in E flat minor, alternating between E flat minor 9 and A flat over E flat, something like, and the melody goes and then ending with a surprise E major 7 that gives a little bit of a dark and bright flavor to the beginning. Then it starts as a kind of a 70s funk kind of thing, but still it's classically kind of a cinematic soundtrack horror intro in some way. And if you notice in the Off the Wall intro melody, the melody is based on the Dorian scale. So the natural 6 conveys the the brightness in comparison with the darkness of the minor scale, and then with the surprise element of the E major 7, so you get this interesting feeling conveyed by the Dorian scale, which is not that dramatic, but still can be a bit mysterious and eerie. Then we finally get to 1982 with the peak of this horror cinematic harmony thing on Thriller, where the minor harmony conveys this kind of spooky feeling, and it's mainly a C sharp minor kind of riff. And of course, we have all the choreography and the other like spooky element in the song, but mainly harmonically, it's all like a minor feel. After the super cinematic thriller, what do we have? In 1984, Michael Jackson goes back with the Jackson 5, actually the Jacksons in this case, and releases Torture. Torture is not really very cinematic or horror in per se, but has some strings, some electronic keys that have like a very mysterious feeling. So it's mostly a rock track with a little bit of eerie strings, arrangements, and harmony. Then in 1996, Michael Jackson comes back with the horror, cinematic, theatrical aspect of that with the movie Ghosts. The whole Ghost soundtrack is pretty much a classical music piece with a lot of mysterious and horror elements. And there's a song coming from the movie. It's called "Is It Scary?" That has some still some kind of spooky cinematic elements, mostly based on kind of a James Bond kind of harmony. So it's kind of minor with a James Bond feel. So it's kind of basic harmony. So after a strings interlude, this classically starts with the no, no, no. So kind of a Bond-esque, mysterious. Then the final one that we can spot is 1991 Threatened, where Michael Jackson goes back to that kind of C sharp minor. It feels like there's a recurrence of this C sharp minor harmony. Maybe it's one of his favorite keys, and it's more kind of an obsessive like riff in C sharp minor, and with the whole arrangement coming from the hip hop tradition. So it's more, if it sounds a bit more like a hip hop. It reminds me of something like a phenomenon, you know. Something like a phenomenon. I mean, 2001, not 1991. So Threatened is the last horror cinematic track from Michael Jackson. So checking out on this whole Halloween horror Michael Jackson trajectory, peaking on Thriller and fading out, you know, until Threatened in 2001. I was trying to investigate what could be the influences. Some people say that there was an influence from classical pieces from Debussy or other classical artists that have really cinematic and dark, mysterious elements. Some say that Quincy Jones had an influence in terms of harmony from the jazz tradition. So that could be something coming from Herbie Hancock. That could be something coming from the Shaft soundtrack from the 70s funk. And they're more mysterious, like soundtrack vibes. Some people say it could also come from Greg Fillinganes, the fantastic keyboard player that was orchestrating a lot of songs. And so I would like you to, if you had the patience to listen to the whole video here, to comment and give me your opinion on why and how this horror, like cinematic element, came into the Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 trajectory and peaked and then faded away, and what could be the influences and the stories and the inspirations from that, because it feels like there was like an interest in cinema, in horror, and all those things. So yeah, I hope this was a cool analysis and investigation. Thank you very much.